Well, hey, neighbor, it's me, Angie. Come on in. This is our live neighborhood chat. Yeah, I didn't put up a I thank y'all for coming and visiting me today. I'm glad y'all were here. And I'm going to have to tell you all that I love you and there's nothing you can do about it. And I will have my neighborhood. Hey, 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 everyone. It's me, Angie. How are y'all doing? I finally got to do a live. Been trying to get a live done all week, live stream live. I did a live on the way to hi Sassy Mary, my good friend. How are you? Um I did a live on the way to the concert, but I hadn't been able to do a live since. It's just from one thing after the other. And y'all can tell by the way I look, I'm exhausted. I have been so tired. I hadn't been able to recover from the concert. James and I didn't get home till 1 o'clock that morning. I'm not used to staying out that late. Now, don't get me wrong, the concert was awesome. And I would go back if it was somebody I wanted to see. But man, did it take a lot out of this system of mine. I hope you're doing well, Sassy. So good of you to drop by. What's going on with you? Y'all, I haven't been able to get my thirst quenched. Oh no, your car died? Oh my gosh, it's nothing like car trouble. Oh man, I can't stand car trouble. Do you know what happened to it? Do you know exactly what the problem is? I didn't put up a thumbnail of me going live because I didn't want to have to cancel again because actually my nurse was supposed to come by at 11 today and I just sent her a message and said, oh, waiting on the mechanic, your old man to fix it. Oh, okay. My husband knows zero about mechanicking on an automobile. We always have to take ours somewhere, and you know how expensive that is. But so I text my nurse and said, "Look, I'm moving slow this morning. You got to go see others before you come to me." So, oh, waiting for the parts. I hope they get there soon. Parts are hard to come by nowadays. For some reason, parts for anything. I mean, it's crazy. You used to could just go to AutoZone or what's that other place? It's not AutoZone. It's I don't know. But anyway, I can't get my thirst quenched. I've been drinking and drinking and drinking like crazy, and it's like you know how you can feel it like you're drinking it, but you can't really feel it. Um. Oh, they're supposed to be there today. Oh, I hope he gets it fixed soon. I have some stories to tell about the concert. Oh, he gets most of his parts from Amazon? I never thought about that. I never thought about getting them from Amazon, but I guess you could. Yeah, yeah, it makes sense. So I went to the heart doctor for my yearly checkup. Can y'all believe it's been a year since I had my upgrade in my pacemaker? Cannot believe it's been a year. It does not seem like it at all. At all. But like I was saying, I didn't put a thumbnail up for my live because I didn't want to cancel again. I just said, well, when I can go live, I'll go live. I'll wait till we get a few more people in here because I got this story to tell about what happened at the concert. Oh my goodness. Oh, it was awesome. I've gotten videos of um a lot of Rod Stewart singing, upgrade on Angie made her better and stronger. Whew. Um so the concert was awesome. But like I said, ever since I went to the concert, I haven't been able to get hydrated. I'm not supposed to sit out in the heat anyway. And this was an amphitheater, but here's the deal. It was one of the coolest days we have had in years to be August. That was the one thing I was worried about when I got the tickets was, oh my gosh, it's August. How in the world am I going to sit out in the heat? But it was one of the coolest days, and that was amazing that it was a cooler day. But we got there, we called because we wanted to get a few things like what we could bring in. They didn't allow clear backpacks. My son had told me, Mom, buy a clear backpack, but they were like, no, you can bring a clear Ziploc bag or things like that. But a backpack we do not allow because it had to be a certain size and everything. And also, the handicap parking lot opened up at 5, but the actual stadium didn't open up till 6. So that meant we had to sit in the parking lot for an hour, which it didn't matter because I sit all day, every day. So it really didn't matter. And we get up there around 5, get our parking spot, which was a good parking spot. And we sit there for an hour. It didn't seem like an hour. It went by pretty fast. And then the stadium opened up. And even though you could get in at 6, the concert didn't start until 7:30. And of course, they had a band before Rod Stewart came out, a rock band. And for some reason, I cannot look at my photos. Cheap Trick was the ones, and they, I guess, don't have the money that Rod Stewart has because even though their band sounded good, it wasn't as clear as Rod Stewart was when he came out. I mean, Rod Stewart, to be 80 years old, this man looked really good. Plus, he was shaking his booty and dancing around and moving. I mean, he could move really good to be 80 years old. And I can't take the heat either. I mean, it has gotten really bad, but I needed the vitamin D. I mean, I needed to sit out in there in the sun and get some of that vitamin D. I honestly did need that, but oh my gosh. And I had gotten a shower that morning and I had felt so good after that shower. Well, hey, beautiful Lena. Well, thank you. I'm so glad you stopped by. I'll be at the auction later on this afternoon at Josie's. I didn't get to be there the other day very long. Hey, Pamela, how are you? Welcome in. I'm so glad y'all dropped by. I have this wild story to tell about the concert, y'all. It had nothing to do with like the music and all that. It had something to do with one of the people that was at the concert. And look, it was nothing but baby boomers and Gen Xers mostly there. We saw so many people on canes, wheelchairs, walkers. Um, there was a few younger people, but not many, which I figured it'd be a lot of Gen Xers. But man, those mama and papas was coming in with those canes. And boy, when Rod Stewart started singing, ooh, they were jumping up and down. And of course, I'd never been to this theater. And of course, they sold beer and other drinks and food, which James and I did not drink. I was like, nah, I don't need to be drinking. No, drinking makes me have to go to the bathroom, and I surely didn't want to keep going back and forth to the bathroom because where we were sitting was way away from the restrooms. I mean, we were up high. I mean, they were good seats. I mean, that's one thing about the handicap. I mean, they're going to give you good seats. But we had an excellent view of the concert. And we were away from people, not stuck down real close. And yeah, I looked up online for how much the tickets cost that were the close up ones, the ones that were where you were sitting on at the bottom on the floor, the floor part. Those tickets ran like 3,000 and something dollars. I would never pay. Honestly, I looked up the price of tickets that my children paid for James and I to go. I wouldn't even have paid that. If my children hadn't given me the tickets to go for my birthday, there's my twin. I wouldn't even have went. I wouldn't have paid as much as they paid for James and I to go to that concert. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm glad they did. Hey, Sonia, welcome in. Um, but it was awesome. Oh my gosh. He sang my song, the very last song he sang. I had to wait through the whole concert to hear the song that I like most, which is Hot Legs, is the song that he sings that is my favorite. But he changed out. He said, I have to go change my knickers. He has that, he's from Scotland, I think. And he has that accent, which I absolutely love. And I didn't know that he was married and had 8 children. I had no idea that he was married and had 8 children. And I'm talking about like young children, not now he has some adult children too. But I mean, the youngest one is like really like still, he looked to be about 10 or 11 years old when I looked it up online. Um, but he was awesome. Cheap Trick was all right, but I couldn't understand a word they were saying. Their music was louder than their vocals, but not Rod Stewart. I mean, he was coming through loud and clear. He kicked soccer balls out into the crowd. They had a violin, a fiddle, a saxophone, a harp, of course, guitars out of this world. It was just awesome. I mean, Rod Stewart knows how to put on a show. Um, hey Josie. Um, but y'all, I have a story to tell y'all that happened at the concert. Hey Michael. Uh, good to see y'all. All right, so let me tell y'all this story. All right, first I want to say this. This could have easily happened to me. Okay, what I'm about to tell you. Because of my disability. I mean, things have happened to me since I've been disabled that I thought wouldn't happen to me till I got in my 70s and 80s. Okay. Actually, my grandmother was 83 when she passed, and this never happened to her. I mean, she was in good health and had her mind. So, James and I decided that when the concert was over, that we would just wait till everybody cleared out. There was no reason for us to be in a hurry, Why should we rush to the car or have him load my wheelchair up just to get in a line of cars that was just going to, not go very far? So we decided we was going to hang out at the sidewalk, where people were going in and out to get in and out of the concert. So there were these two women over to my left that were wheelchair bound. So I told James, I said, well, I'm just going to ride over here and talk to them. So I rode over there. Their names were Joe and Cindy. And we had a good conversation. They lived in Jackson. We were just talking, really nice ladies. They were sisters. One lady had served in the service. I thanked her for her serving our country, and then I talked to the other lady. She had Addison's disease. I don't know if y'all have ever heard that, but one of the ladies had Addison's disease. But so I was talking to them, and their ride, they had to get sort of like a Uber sort of thing because they were both in a wheelchair and they didn't have a handicap accessible van for both of them, so they had to get a ride there. And I don't want to miss a comment. Thank y'all for coming in. So anyway, we talked to them a few minutes, and James said, well, I'm just going to walk down here. I'll be right back. So in the meantime, those ladies' rides came. Their ride came. So I was there by myself, and I said, well, I'm going to ride down here by James. And y'all, I want to tell y'all, by no means am I making fun of the story that I'm fixing to tell y'all. I'm just going to tell y'all, I was in just like, could not believe it. But anyway, I went down there where James was, and we were just talking. And for some reason, I turned my wheelchair around and my back was facing James, and I heard him say, sir, are you okay? And James is always helping somebody or doing something when we're out in public, asking them, are they okay? So that part didn't surprise me that he did that. So when he said that, the man walked up beside me and said, yeah, I think I'm okay. And he was wobbling like he didn't have all his bearings, but you could smell the alcohol. And let me tell you, he was like probably in his 60s, I would say, real tall guy. And like I said earlier, it was mostly Gen Xers and baby boomers there. A lot of canes, a lot of wheelchairs, a lot of walkers, just older people, because our generation loved Rod Stewart. I knew there were going to be older people. But anyway, as the man walked down, James said, are you sure you're okay? Well, about that time, I looked down and something is on his leg, like going from the top of his leg to the bottom of his leg. And at first, James thought it was blood. He was like, oh my gosh, this man, he's bleeding. Something happened to it. Y'all, it was not blood. This man had used the bathroom on himself. Well, when I realized that and I got a big whiff of what had happened, I just can't stomach stuff like that. So I told James, I said, okay, I'm going to go down here. And I thought, well, if James helps him, good for him, but I can't do it. I can't stomach it. So the man in my peripheral vision over here, he sat down in the grass and started scooting around in the grass. And I'm thinking, where is his family? Where is the people that came with him? Did he come by himself? I mean, what is his name? I mean, does he need us to call Uber, which I can't imagine Uber or a taxi letting him get in their ride. I couldn't imagine it. Well, I was just like, oh my gosh, I feel so bad for him. My heart just went out to him, y'all. I just could not believe it. My heart went out to him because I thought, that could have easily happened to me in the shape that I'm in, And so I go down to the end where we were sitting with the ladies that were in the wheelchair. And a few minutes later, James comes. I said, did you get him seen about? Is he okay? And I said, did you make sure that he was okay? And James said, yeah, he wouldn't let me help him. He wouldn't let me. And I guess he was just so embarrassed or whatever. But I had never seen anything like that. But I don't know if it was because he was drinking and the accident happened because he had drank too much, you know. And we all know if we're older, you get to a certain age, sometimes that's not controllable. You're not going to control that part of your body. So I was concerned about the man. I was like, somebody needs to get him to his car or to wherever he needs to get. But so James goes over to the people that is directing the traffic that had like the security there and said, look, there's this man. He's walked off. I don't know where he is, but he's having a little trouble. James was trying to explain it. And so I'm assuming they found him and got him taken care of. I don't know. I just prayed on the way home that the man found his way home. That's all I was. I had never experienced anything like that in my life. I said, oh, bless his heart. And so when we were leaving, because we waited till everybody cleared out of the parking lot. So when we were leaving, the security guards and two women was standing up by the place where you go out to leave out of the parking lot. And James had his window down, and the lady was saying, she was with us earlier and now we can't find her. And I heard the guy say, well, what does she look like? Well, they had lost somebody that they came with and they could not find this lady. So James just drove off. And I said, there's a lady missing. And James said, what? I said, you didn't hear what they said? The people were saying that they lost their friend and didn't know where she was. And he said, oh, I didn't hear that. I said, yeah, that she got away from them and everybody had left. There was nobody left. And they couldn't figure out where their friend, I don't know if they ever found her. I don't know anything about that story. But as two things that happened after the concert was over, I was like, oh my goodness, these people are just, I mean, this is bad. One guy had an accident. The other lady, they don't know where she is. I didn't see anything on the news about someone missing at a concert. I didn't see it, which I don't watch the news a lot. But the concert itself, oh, and another thing that happened was we sat by some really nice people. And it was a man in a wheelchair, and he had a prosthetic on his right leg. And his wife's name was Nancy, and his name was Walter. And they were from Vicksburg. That's where we go gamble sometimes. So we started talking to them. A policeman came up behind him during the concert, tapped him on his shoulder, and said, sir, there's a lady that said she lost a wheelchair that looks just like yours. She thinks you have her wheelchair. And the man said, are you joking? And the policeman said, no, she thinks you took her wheelchair. And the man said, no, I came here with this wheelchair. If you want to follow me back to my car, I'll show you that this wheelchair is mine. This is my wheelchair. So the policeman walked off, and the guy just leaned over to James and said, can you believe that? And it was just one of those push wheelchairs, wasn't like my electric. And he said, well, I could see if it was like your wife's wheelchair, her claiming that it was hers, but just a regular wheelchair. I mean, it was some crazy stuff going on. I mean, which I don't get out in public a lot. That happened to me once when I was horrified. I had just got out of the hospital. I was at Walmart. Thank goodness I went in the bathroom, and Mom bought some clean clothing, and I cleaned off. Yeah. I mean, I felt so bad for the guy. I mean, I really did, but I have such a weak stomach. I was like, okay, I got to go down here. I can't. If James wants to deal with that, I'll let him deal with it. So, but the music was awesome. The place was awesome. The atmosphere was good. Everything went really good. But we didn't get home till 1 o'clock Wednesday morning. And James and I are not used to staying out that late at all. But I would do it again. I would. Not only that, I had to be at the heart doctor at 10:30 Wednesday after us staying out late. And so we had to get up early because we had to go back to Jackson where the concert was for me to see my heart doctor. So we get up to the heart doctor. And hey Janice, how are you? Welcome in. Y'all, the doctor that put my new pacemaker in, he's leaving. I cannot keep a good heart doctor. And when Dr. Fight left a year ago and I got Dr. Haglin, I said, "You're not leaving anytime soon, are you?" And he's like, "No, I've got a lot more years before I retire. I'm not going to leave." And he was originally from the northern states. And I said, "Well, are you going to move back?" He's like, "No, I'm not moving back up there. The winters are too cold." Well, lo and behold, guess what he's doing? He's moving back to the north because his family does not like it here. So now I've got to have a new heart doctor. I told the lady that I saw, which was a nurse practitioner, I said, "Please tell me that this doctor is younger than I am and he wants to stay here in this state." And she just laughed and said, "Yeah, and he's really good, blah, blah, blah." Y'all, my heart has gotten so much better and stronger since they put the new lead in. They increased my battery life to 6 years instead of 4 years. They were like, "Your heart is so much stronger than it was before we put the extra lead in." That was the best news I have heard in so long. And I said, "Oh," I was just thrilled. I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's the best news ever." And yes. But then she says, "We would like to do a test to see how bad the sarcoidosis has affected your heart. We can biopsy your heart." I was like, "Oh no, 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 you're not biopsying my heart because that don't even sound good. That don't even sound like something I want to do." I was like, "No, you're gonna have to find another way. I'm not letting you. No, 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 no." I was just saying no. Oh, 3 open heart surgeries? So then she said, "I was reading in your chart about the CT that they tried to do before your surgery." I said, "Yeah, I didn't make it through the CT." I said, "But I think part of it was because of the guy that was administering the test was not kind at all. I mean, he was not empathetic at all. He was supposed to have it replaced, but said he did not want another heart surgery." Oh, he passed at 26. I'm so sorry to hear that. So anyway, I'm thinking, well, my heart's doing better, so the sarcoidosis must be at bay. So why do you want to even fool with something that's working well? That's my thought. And she said, "Well, there's new medications now that they have to treat sarcoidosis, and maybe you could switch to one of those and get off the steroid." Which that kind of made me think, well, I might want to do that, once she said that. And she said, "We definitely want to do an echo on your heart because I have a hole in my heart." Y'all remember me telling y'all that I must have had since birth, but they found it, blah, blah, blah. Dr. White, they want me to see him on the 28th of this month. So I'm not going to have just one heart doctor. I'm going to have two heart doctors. one that specializes in the sarcoidosis and one that uh, does electrical parts of your heart. You know, like the electrical part of your heart breaking down. That I'm gonna have two different heart doctors. And she said we can do the echo. I said, now if y'all want to give me something and put me in a machine, I don't have a problem with that. Um, oh, your mom raised him? Oh, wow. Yes, that's what I said. I mean, if it's working, why are you trying to fix it? You know, if it's all good. Um, so she said, I said, now if y'all want to give me something to put me out or put me in a twilight or whatever y'all want me to do, and then put me in an MRI or put me in a CT machine or I mean whatever. I mean I'm okay with that, but I just don't think I can go through it being conscious like at myself. And she just laughed and I thought, lady, it's not funny because I was under major panic attack when I went for that CT. I'm talking about major panic attack. But that was good news on the heart that they increased my battery life from 4 years to 6 years. Awesome. Great news. And then they come back with, oh, we want to see how much damage the sarcoid has done to your heart and see if it's inflamed because, you know, that's what sarcoid is. It's inflammation. You know, that's what my disease is inflammation. Speaking of which, oh my goodness, y'all, I haven't told y'all this. I feel like I haven't talked to y'all in weeks. Okay, so y'all know I've been getting my lower extremities wrapped, you know, to get the fluid. Well, we took the wraps off for me to get a shower the other morning. James and I did. Y'all, I'm not joking. I am not joking. My leg, not my ankle, but my leg part, like from my knee down to my ankle, is about this big around. I haven't used I don't walk, so the muscle behind my legs are not prominent because I don't walk, so I haven't built muscle. Okay. Um, Ellen came in. I saw Ellen came in. Hey, Ellen, welcome in. I have a procedure on the 12th. They want to open me up, Claudette. I'm so afraid, and no one will allow them to open me up. They're going inside on the 12th and with a camera. Oh, Michael, I'll be praying for you. Remember, some medical based, yes, yes, that is so true, Josie. And I'm not letting them just start doing all these tests on me, especially when they said, oh, your heart is a lot better. And Josie may know something about this, but for years, my heart was between 55 and 60 function, some kind of function. They saw a scale. Well, when I went to my new heart doctor, it was 45 to 50. That's why they said my heart was failing and they needed to put the third lead in. Well, now that they put the third lead in, it's back up to regular functioning, up to around the 55 to 60 mark. And like I said, I don't know what that's called, but it's the function of your heart. Uh, so good to see you, Ellen. I'm so glad to see that your devotions were back this morning. I listened to it. But oh my gosh, I forgot what I was another doctor story I was going. Oh, my legs. So I don't my legs look like, all right, let me show y'all this. So my legs look this thin, like it just goes straight down. It doesn't have like a muscle behind my leg because I haven't been building muscle because I cannot walk. So when James took my wraps off, I just started crying because my legs look like a person that and don't take it wrong when I say this. You know how you see the people on TV that doesn't have a lot of food and they're just real thin. They look like little stick people. My legs look like that, and I was like, "Oh gosh, James, this doesn't look good. This is not good." So that upset me because I don't have muscle behind my legs, my calves. Yeah, my calves. I don't have that muscle. It's just like straight down, no muscle. And and they're real now. Don't get me wrong, all the fluid's gone, which in turn is a good thing. But what's bad is now I can see uh how thin my legs really are without me having any muscle because I'm not building muscle because I cannot walk. So when my physical therapist came yesterday, um, probably looked like my legs, Angie. You're welcome. You saw yesterday, and I also posted today's. Tomorrow's is ready to go at the regular time. Oh, that's good. So I talked to him about it, and he said once I get my AFO, my pair of shoes, that those shoes would cause me to walk heel to toe, heel to toe. So therefore, I'd be able to build some muscle, but nothing like it was before I became handicapped. I'm never going to get it that prominent because when you have foot drop, your foot does not go like this, heel to toe. It does not do that. It goes like this, like a horse and a hoof. It you can't bend your foot like this. So you can't build muscle like that. Needless to say, I was very upset. Hey, yeah, ejection fraction. Yes, that's what they call it. Yes, yeah, 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 yeah. That's exactly right, Sue B. Welcome in. Thank you. Yeah. See, when my heart was, they needed to put the third lead in, my injection fraction was only working on one side and it was making my heart pump harder because this side wasn't working. So it was just this side working, and then my heart was just struggling, struggling, struggling. Well, when they put the third lead in, it balanced it back out. And your heart's a muscle. So, it was pumping correctly, so it was getting stronger and stronger. Thank you, Sue B. Thank you. We'll be listening. Have 5 totes of yarn and 2 boxes of yarn in my living room, and more totes and boxes of yarn in the office to go through. Oh, sassy. Wow. You got a lot of yarn. But anyway, that's how my week has gone from concert to doctor. Yesterday, the physical therapist came. Today, the nurse is going to come. Oh, and they told her only to put the stockings on my leg, not to wrap my legs anymore because it's beginning to do my legs harm by wrapping them and them not having any fluid. It's bringing harm to my legs. Like now I'm getting cramps in my legs because there's no fluid there and it's restricting my legs. So if it's not one thing, it's another. But now we're just going to put the stockings on, and I'm not kidding y'all. Let me tell y'all this. I have had the wraps on my legs for so many months that when I take them off, my legs feels like feathers. They feel really light, and it's hard for me to even walk. And I'm afraid I'm going to fall because my legs are so light. I mean, when I was getting in the shower the other day, I was like, am I really walking on my legs? Because it was just like I was floating. They were so light. So now I got to get used to not wearing the wraps so I can learn how to balance that and not fall. I had so many shoes custom made. I pray they work better for you than they did for me. Yeah, yeah, Josie. I know. And that's why I told him the other day, I said, look, this is not good. These are coming off, and I'm just going to put, either I'm going to go without anything and just regular socks, or I am going to just wear the stockings. I'm not doing these wraps. I mean, because it's ridiculous. I mean, you're using a wrap on something that doesn't need it. I mean, there's no fluid there, nothing but restriction. Oh, okay, Michael. Good seeing you. Um, so that's where we are now. Which don't get me wrong, I'm excited that the fluid is off my lower extremities. I am very happy about that. And then my physical therapist tells me that Angie, I know that you already know it's going to be difficult when you first get these shoes because they're going to be heavy. This AFO and this other shoe is going to be heavy, and it's not going to be easy for you to pick your foot up. And I know, and see, he knows me. He's been my physical therapist for years. And I'll grumble when I first have to do something that I don't want to do. Oh my gosh. And I'll just say, let me have my moment. And once I have my moment, I'll move on and I'll do whatever you ask me to do. And he laughed and he said, I know, I know. He said, I just don't want you to get so discouraged that when you put this pair of shoes on, that you think you're fixing to take off walking, and you're not going to do that because this AFO is going to be heavy. To you, it's going to feel heavy. To me, because I have full strength in my legs, he said it wouldn't be heavy to me, but to you, it's going to be heavy. And so I'm trying to get my brain wrapped around the fact that I'm just not going to start walking. I'm going to have to learn it all over again. Oh, so that's all it is with me in a nutshell. What is going on with y'all? I did want to address one more thing, but it's a wide area. It's for everybody to think about. It's not just something that's directed toward me. It's directed toward everybody. And I do want to say that Josie and I are having our show next Thursday on the 14th, the calm before the storm. It's going to be 6 p.m. Central Time for me and 4 Pacific for her because she's on the West Coast. So don't forget to join us for that. I have the thumbnail up, and lo and behold, Josie had to send me the thumbnail again. I don't know what I'm doing. Where all this stuff is going from my emails and my computer. I know I had it saved to my computer. And I don't know. Things are just disappearing from my computer and my email. Unless I'm getting up in the middle of the night and not even aware of what I'm doing and I'm deleting stuff. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, don't forget our show is that Thursday. And also, Josie has an auction this afternoon. Dee is on vacation. So Lena is going to be with Josie this afternoon. Oh, Claudette. Lincoln. Oh, that afternoon, after he had got stitches in his head, he got 3 stitches right here. Right here. He fell at daycare. He was climbing on something. Oh boy. Oh boy. That little rascal was climbing in the chair in my dining room. And you know how easy it is to go over, how light it is on the top. And I turn around, he's standing straight up in the chair. I'm like, James, get him, get him. And I look at Lincoln, I go, Lincoln, you don't remember you were just at the emergency room? And what it felt like when you fell and you had to get stitches right here? He didn't remember. He was climbing here at the house, after he was at the emergency room. No, he doesn't know what fear is. He doesn't know. You are exactly right, Claudette. That little rascal. I mean, I call him a little rascal, but he is the most loving thing. He is the sweetest thing. Um, I'm going to have a live at 2:11 p.m. to make up for the missed shows, and I'll be doing my July birthday and community prize wheel. Spread the word, please. Short notice due to my internet issues. I understand about internet issues, Ellen. I went without internet for 10 days one time. Anyway, I wanted to address the conversation that I wanted to talk about for everybody. Okay. The show that Josie and I were going to be doing, of course, it's on my channel, but it's going to be a great conversation. If y'all will just come, invite people. Sounds like my son, when he was little, caught him standing on dining room table and trying to grab the light fixture above the table. I say that Lincoln was actually supposed to be Matt's child, and Berkeley was supposed to actually be Taylor's child, because Berkeley is Taylor when she was young, and Lincoln is Matt when he was young. I said, boy, you are just like your Uncle Matt. I mean, Matt climbed on every single thing. Run, jump. I mean, Matt broke his arm. He had so many scratches. I just can't express to y'all everything that Matt did when he was young. And it reminds me so much of Matt to see Lincoln do it. But it's funny when you see your grandchildren growing up and it reminds you of your children when they were growing up. It's funny. Oh, and Josie, I wanted to tell you, if you're still here, you have a beautiful daughter-in-law. She is gorgeous. I saw that picture of you and her and your son, which your son is handsome too. But I think I've seen a picture of him, but I had never seen a picture of your daughter-in-law. She is very, very pretty. And not that I didn't think she wasn't pretty, but I mean, she's what do you want to say? Uh, she's just attractive. She looks like she really takes care and conscious of her appearance. I guess that's what I want to say. But so when Josie and I do our show next Thursday, y'all make sure that y'all invite people to come, because it's really going to be interesting. I kind of want to start the conversation, and I will, but if it gets out of hand, we're going to have to just say, we are all adults. We need to, and I've never had trouble in one of my lives where I had to just shut it down or knock people out, kick them out or whatever. But what I want to say is this: we don't know each other. You cannot know someone, cannot read their mind. You cannot know what they're thinking unless you're a mind reader. And none of us are mind readers. And I say this to say, don't judge people on who you think they are, because you really don't know. And when there's a situation that goes on and there's a third party involved, you don't know what that third party is thinking when it comes between those two people having a disagreement. All right, what I mean by that is two people are having a disagreement. A third party seems like they're involved in it. You can't say that you know what that third party is thinking unless you're a mind reader. You don't know. And I don't feel like you should judge that person. That's the third person that has nothing to do with the disagreement that you and the other person, now y'all follow me, you and the other person are having. I think it's unfair to the person that's sitting out there wanting to stay neutral. And we'll talk more about it when Josie and I have our show. But to me, it stems on us being different. I mean, we're all different. We all have different feelings and emotions and the way we feel and think. But you cannot honestly say, "Oh, I know what you were thinking." No, you do not, unless you're a mind reader. And sometimes we can be so far off on what's going on. Uh, and don't attack someone because they're not necessarily agreeing with what you want them to agree with. I mean, I think it's wonderful that people have their own thoughts and their own beliefs and the reason that I don't always agree with it, but I like a person that thinks for themselves and not follow somebody else telling them what to think. You know, you may be thinking for yourself. It could be the wrong thinking, but at least you're thinking for yourself and not allowing someone else to sway you one way or the other. I mean, we got to be self thinkers. We shouldn't allow uh just because someone feels this way about this person or whatever, we're supposed to feel that same way. No, no, no. And that's not just about a person, that's just about a topic, that somebody's discussing or whatever. But don't attack the messenger, you know, because you and this other person is having a disagreement. And maybe the person that is delivering the message agrees more with the person that they're bringing the message from, but that doesn't mean they dislike you too. I mean, I'm like this. When two people are having a disagreement, my feelings of the disagreement has nothing to do with my feelings toward each person, because I'm going to love you regardless of the disagreement. May not agree with you on what the topic is, but I'm not going to be cruel to you just because you don't believe the way I do. And some people cannot separate it. Some people cannot separate. They take it so personally when you disagree with them on a topic that they feel like they have to dislike you because you don't think like they think. Well, why would they want you to think like they did? I mean, I don't expect anybody to think like I do. I mean, my goodness, no, no. But anyway, we're going to be talking about the differences that we have um, amongst each other when Josie and I do our show next week. And by our differences, that we can all live together and be kind to each other. I don't know what you're talking about, but we're all supposed to be leaders, not followers, so you're right. Welcome in, just messing. Um, Angie, it would be nice if people understood we're just trying to share and learn and grow. Yeah. Um, sure we're different. We used to talk when we used to talk. Here's the thing. Our differences is what makes up this vast, beautiful world. I mean, if we were all alike and we all like the color blue, could you imagine everything in the world being blue? I mean, we wouldn't have any other color. But it doesn't seem to bother anybody that my favorite color is green and theirs is not. That doesn't seem to upset anybody, you know? But other things that I might believe that you don't believe sends you off the rail. We all could have been Ken and Barbie. That's the point. I think it makes for good conversation when you don't agree with a person. Yeah, he gave us free will, yes. We must have our own opinions, like one might like flowers and the other one might like bugs. We have our own opinions. That's what makes us different. Exactly. Say, I mean, I like roses. You like carnations. You like magnolias. You like daisies. I like roses, But that doesn't seem to upset some people. But you get on two other subjects that I know about, let's just say religion or politics, and people lose their consciousness. And if you're not grounded, you will tend to get upset when people don't agree with you in those two areas. Now, you can disagree with me, and I don't have to agree with you on those areas. And it doesn't mean that I'm not going to love you or not going to respect you, because I'm going to respect you regardless of what you believe in those two areas. Um, and it's not, and we do not want anyone to follow me as if they're have to agree with me. I'm not a cult leader. Uh, I want to hear others' opinions, yes, but when we disagree, it gives you food for thought, because everybody does not know everything, and they're not an expert in every topic that there is. And though you may not agree with somebody else, at least you can do is listen. And here's the thing, just because you get loud in a conversation, that does not make you more right the louder you can get. And the thing that gets me is, you can start off on a topic, and when the person feels like that they're not gaining ground, they start attacking personally. Like how you look, what your lifestyle is, what you said 2 months ago, or how you said it, or when they start losing, or they think they're losing an argument, they start attacking you personally, which is not even, that shows their, I mean, that's cutting below the belt, if you ask me. I mean, let's just stay on topic. If we're talking about how to cook eggs, and we disagreeing on how to fry an egg, and I feel like I'm gaining ground and you're losing ground, and then all of a sudden you start saying, well, your hair looks like yada yada yada, or you've gained 40 pounds. What does that have to do with frying an egg? You just went way off topic. The word cult has become different from years ago, so I would need to be more, so I'd need to be more specific. Welcome in, GJ Threeple. How are you? When people go to that for you block them and delete them out of your life. Yeah, I'm not going, that's never happened in my live chats, but I'm not going to tolerate that, and I'm not going to tolerate people being ugly to other people in my chat over something that they disagree with somebody else about. I mean, if we were all perfect, first of all, we wouldn't be here if we were perfect, because there's nobody that's perfect. Okay? We're all learning, we're all trying to better ourselves, or supposedly. But we got to have fun too. I mean, we got to enjoy life. We got to, keep it simple, stupid. Let's just keep it simple. Why do we have to do all this uh deep I mean, and don't get me wrong. Sometimes that is warranted. You need to do that, but for the most part, keeping it simple is really the best thing to do. Hey, Wendy, how are you? Welcome in. I hope you're doing well. Good to see you. I'm so happy that you dropped by. But at the end of the day, everyone has feelings. I mean, everybody wants to be liked, cared about, showed attention. They want to be acknowledged. They still can watch, but I will not engage with hate. Yeah, I don't. I enjoy talking to others, but I don't like people who think I should agree with them all the time. I know that does not even make sense to me. I mean, I honestly like people that disagree and say, "Hey, I don't know if I agree with what you're saying." I'll give it some thought, and think about what you're saying, but I don't necessarily agree. And it does not offend me that you don't agree with everything I say. Number one, I don't know everything. And I don't know that I'm right about everything. In my mind, my belief system, I'm pretty much correct, but it may sound strange to somebody else. You can go to your he's telling him how to do. Had a had a good eye doctor appointment. So I'm doing much better. Heard you love oh yeah, concert was awesome. I got some good video of the songs that he did too, but I don't think I can upload them on YouTube because number one, and I know y'all know about this, but we could share photos and all that before the concert started, but once it started, they scrambled the internet. You could see that you were still online, but it wasn't letting you video or send text or anything like that because they didn't want you going live or making videos live because you didn't buy a ticket. So they didn't want you going live during the concert. And as soon as the concert was over, you could get back online again. You could do videos. You could do everything. But I told James, I said they scrambled it because I know when we worked at the bank, our tech guy was talking about that one day how they could scramble things, and it looks like you're online, but honestly, you're not. You're not. You're not online. I hope your Friday gets 100% better. Thank you. I honestly think that there are just some people that want to be angry with other people. I really do. I just think they just want to be at odds with other people. Uh Now when Josie and I do our shows, what we're bringing to you are facts because we look up different things that we think that we need to show the reason that you might would believe what we're saying, not because we believe it, but maybe there's facts. But you may have facts to show something that is different than what we're saying. We don't mind that. We're bringing you facts, and we're not trying to say for you to believe the way we believe. We're we're facilitators. We're just trying to lead um the chat in conversation to discuss a topic that we all can learn about, that we all can. We're not sitting up there or sitting up here on panel saying, oh, we know it all. We want to let you know that we know it all. And we want you to believe like we do. No, that's not the way Josie and I operate. That's why she and I work so well together, is because we both know that we don't know everything. And we have learned so much through these shows that we've been doing. At least I know I have, and she's mentioned that she has too, just by doing the research on the topics that we have brought to you all. Yeah, live sales are good. Did somebody drop Josie's link for her show? Why try to be mean and ugly towards anyone? You're just talking about something might come off onto people in different ways. Yeah, I mean, no, that's right, Josie. You're never too old to learn. Never, ever. Is anyone, if anyone is with me being honest and real, it is okay to block me. I don't know how to drop other links. Sorry. I truly like having a real conversation. You're okay, Claudette. I'm just glad you're here. I'm just glad you're here. That's my girl. She's good to everybody in all their lives. Claudette is the best supporter of all channels. She is amazing. She does awesome. She watches people's videos. She comments. Y'all, I put my new glasses back on today and my eyes started watering again. I'm going to put my old glasses back on. I don't know what they did to my new glasses, but something is not right. Something is not right. Oh, yeah, that's better. I feel like you need to allow people to be who they are. And once and let them make their own choice of where they want to go on YouTube, who they want to watch, what they want to do. Don't turn somebody else against somebody because you don't necessarily enjoy the person's content or who they are, or maybe the person has done something to you. Well, don't try to turn people away from that person because you and that person have had a disagreement. I mean, that in itself is wrong. Hey, Austin, how are you doing? Welcome in. So when Josie and I do these shows that we have every month, it is for all of us to learn something, not just the people that's in the chat. It's for everybody. And to put in, we want the chat to put in their 2 cents, to put in what they're thinking. I'm sorry to hear that, Michael. I'm glad you're doing great, Austin. That's great. Um, only advice I would give to anybody on YouTube is just be yourself. I don't care how weird, how indifferent, how strange you may appear to people. Don't be phony, because once people find out that you have been phony, they'll never trust you again, no matter how many channels you have, no matter how many times you say you're sorry, no matter how many times you try to make excuses for not being authentic. They're never going to trust you again. Hey, Uni, welcome in, girl. How are you doing? Uni Magic has auctions. She sells with Angela's Vintage and Resale and John, aka John the Reseller. They had an auction last night, I think. I don't know if y'all know this, but Claudette lives in Canada. Oh, she supports. Oh my gosh. So many channels. I cannot even begin to tell y'all. We all make mistakes. We all do things wrong. We all say the wrong thing. We all do the wrong thing. But here, I'm the same everywhere. But I found out behind the curtain of YouTube, have found out who true friends are. Yes. Amen, Sassy. Amen on that. I don't want you to feel like, hold on, but if you're on a mobile phone, oh, he's giving instructions. What's the point of being something you're not? I've never really understood that. I mean, I've always been authentic, authentic, been me, who I am, irregardless if I thought people were going to like me. I never pretended to be something that I wasn't. No one is perfect, but trying to be the best person you can be and being authentic is the best. Yeah. I mean, some people, and I have shared this in my videos, I love eccentric. I love people who are different and have different views, different ideas, and it's strange. And I love to just sit and watch them. I love, um, let's just say, adults who are still like, wait now, let me, how am I going to put this? Um, Down syndrome people love to be around Down syndrome. My children had a classmate that was in there, my son, but my daughter knew this guy too. We loved him. He was the sweetest, kindest guy you'd ever want to meet. Uh, a lot of people run from handicapped people. I tend to run toward them. You know what I'm saying? And I tend to run toward the eccentric and the ones that nobody else wants to talk to. That's the ones I want to talk to. Adults who haven't lost their childlike wonder. Yes. Um, you have to take when you meet someone, you have to put yourself where they are instead of saying or being embarrassed because someone's different and you want to hide or you want to say, oh, I don't want to be associated with them because they look different, they act different. Now, I don't get me wrong, I don't want to be around somebody that's angry all the time. Yes, they my cousin has Downs and she is always so happy. I know they are. Yes, I agree, Michael. They are special. You know, I feel like this. If you disagree with someone for the way they are, and I'm not saying the way they look, because some people can't, that's the way they were born. Their appearance is their appearance. And don't get me wrong, you can enhance it. If you're overweight, you can lose weight. If you're too thin, you can gain weight sometimes. A lot of people that are thin that's wanting to gain weight, I've never had that problem, but I hear that it's a real thing. A lot of times you can't control your outer appearance, but you can control your inner appearance. And I've heard Josie make this remark about you wouldn't think sometimes there are people that are not easy on the eyes, you know, but once you get to know that person, their whole outside looks different. You know, they don't look the way they originally looked when you first got to know them. I was a nurse in the school system and worked with special needs children. They are the happiest children. Yes, I agree, Sassy. And I did not know you were a nurse in the school system. That's amazing. We never taught our children, and some parents do this. And this I just blew me away. Some parents teach their children to stay away from special needs children. We always taught our children to embrace them, to accept them. But there are adults who teach their children to stay away from special needs children. I don't know if they think they can catch something or if it makes them look less than. I don't know. But I would never teach my child to stay away from a special needs child. I would never do that. Explain what you mean by saying people pretend not to know. And where do children learn to bully? How do they know to bully? They don't come here knowing how to be a bully. They learn that from adults. You can ask either one of my children now that they're adults. I always told them, if a teacher ever calls me to the school to tell me that you were ugly to another student for the way they looked, for what they had or didn't have, or the way they acted, you were going to be in so much trouble. And they knew what I meant when I said that. I miss my teaching days, and some of my favorite best students were more challenging ones that teachers didn't want in their class. Then you're doing then you're not doing your job. Oh, I was in the system. I was over at the school. I taught at the school. I have seen some things at the school that would just blow you away, about teachers not wanting the student in their class, teachers not wanting to deal with the child that had ADHD because they disrupted the class, a child that had special needs, they didn't want to have to deal with that. I mean, I've seen it all. Once a child gets to the age where they notice that they're being treated differently because of who their parents are, what they have and don't have, uh, their ability to learn or not to learn, uh, that weighs on the child's growth. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, Michael. But you're always going to have people bullying. I mean, adults bully other adults. Um, which amazes me that someone you would allow someone to bully you. Which I guess because I've never been that type of person, I don't really understand it. But I wish I could talk to the person that has allowed other people to bully them and say, no, 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 no. You come over here. Come over here and let me just sit down and let me I would befriend them. Hey, crossover paranormal. Angie, this is why I speak up so much. I called a parent to come get their child because they were throwing up, and the parent told she would be there as soon as her Bible study group was over. Oh my, I know. I can tell you stories, Sassy, that would see them and they had no clue why they were there. It was just really sad. I don't miss that part of working. What I was saddened by was I would see these children that it would only take a group of children and everybody in that class would turn against one child. And that one child would not even have a friend. And that child would be at recess and they would just be all by themselves. And my heart would just break for this child. I would be teaching the class or whatever. Um, hey, Tooch Man, how are you? Welcome in. Tooch Man has sales. He does reselling. He's awesome. He's on with Dawn's Southern Finds and Yarn Again, and he does his own shows sometimes, and he does shows with Angie's Oddities and Aaron, the ephemera. I can't say that word, guy. You can drop your link, Tooch. I think you can. I don't know if you're. Somebody can drop your link. It would just break my heart. And there was no convincing the other children in the class to be nice to this child. No matter what you would say in an indirect way, they would not be around this child. My biggest peeve was when teachers would put a student in timeout and not explain why they are sitting there or ask them, do they know when half the time they have no clue? Yeah, it was just a sad situation. And you're not supposed, if a child's 2 years old, timeout's 2 minutes. If a child is 5 years old, timeout is 5 minutes. You don't put a child in 30-minute timeouts and they're young. You don't do that. You didn't hear anything about forgiving and teaching, nothing but just that. You're going to hell kind of talk. Um, I think back there was this one guy that I went to school with when I was in high school, and only because he was a redhead and he had freckles, everybody picked on him. Everybody picked on him. And now I think about him sometimes and wonder where he is. But I often say to myself, why didn't I stand up for this guy when I was in high school? Why didn't I say, y'all stop and leave him alone? I often, which I feel like I always took up for the underdog and the person being picked on, but for some reason I never, but he wasn't in the same grade I was in. He just rode the bus that I rode. We were both on the same bus. And I often have feelings of, I should have just stood up and said, y'all leave him alone. Hey, Nora, there's the cool kid of the block. Welcome in, girl. And, I just think back and say, I hope he made it. I hope he made it through and I hope he lives a good life. No one wants to be made fun of or talked about or joked about or anything like that. How are you doing today, Nora? So good to have you, honey bun. But unless you've taught school or been around the school system, you cannot imagine how cruel other children can be. They can be absolutely brutal to other children. Oh, but I threatened my children's life. I said, if I ever hear of you bullying or making fun of someone because of something they have or don't have, or the way they look or don't look or anything, you will not be able to sit down for a week. I mean, it was just like a bad grade, we can turn that around. We can study and do better. But you treating a child like that as a reflection on your dad and I. And I'm not going to have that entire school thinking that we condone you treating another child less than what they're supposed to be treated, because they're a human just like you are. And they have feelings just like you do. And if you think I'm going to allow you to mistreat another child, no, that is not happening. Not in this house. True. Amen, Michael. But I know teachers that honestly dislike children. How can you dislike a child? Like, that's not even in the same, you're not even in the same category. Yes, Josie, that is so true. That I don't care what anybody says. That is so true. You can see how a child treats another child. And see, we live in such a small town where everybody knows everybody. And immediately when I was at the school and I knew who was bullying the child, I knew their parents, and I was like, that's par for the course. I know where they're getting that from. Is the parent. And if they call the parent to the school and would tell the parent that their child was bullying that child, they would say, oh no, that child had to do something for my child to treat. They would take up for their child. They wouldn't try to discipline their child. My child wouldn't have made it home because I would have looked at the principal and said, I need to borrow your paddle. And you need to go in the other room because I'm just to handle my child. They're not going to do this. And once I handle my child, you're gonna call that student up here, and my child is going to apologize to that child for the way he treated him or her. Oh yeah, boys will be boys. Yeah, I've heard that before. Wait a minute. Hold up. Hold on. Hold up. I mean, hate's a very strong word. I don't think. I mean, it's in our vocabulary, and I think it needs to be used in some incidences. But when you use it in a tone of, and it's all in how you use a word. It's how the heart is projecting that word. You can make any word sound bad just by the intent of how you're using it. You don't even have to use a cuss word, and you can hurt someone to the core of their being. But where it says, "Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me." No, no, that is so untrue, because words are very powerful. They can hurt a lot. I agree, Claudette. I use dislike. Yeah. Me being a Christian, I don't even have the ability to really hate. You know what I'm saying? There are things that I loathe that are in this world, but it's not the people. Um, I hear it as I hear it to be asked us to, but this is my personal interpretation. We are to love the sinner but hate the sin. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I get that. Yeah. But I'm talking about when it's directed towards someone. Um, I think it's a very strong word when it's directed to someone to attack them or um the saddest stories I hear a lot are these 10 and 11-year-old kids that have been bullied so much at school that they do something to themselves. Can you imagine being 10 years old and you've been bullied so much that you no longer want to be here? I mean, that breaks my heart. And there's no convincing that child that they've done nothing wrong. I mean, this child honestly believes that there's something wrong with them. And that breaks my heart. That breaks my heart. And if my child ever was, or my grandchild was ever involved in something like that, I just would have to. I would come unglued. I would just lose it. I just could not deal with it. So today we have Josie's going to be on for her auction. She's going to be on with Lena, and I cannot think of Lena's new channel. It's a long name, something with primitive in it. It takes me a while to learn names. He just put the definition of hate in there. I understand that. And then tomorrow, Josie has an auction. It's her auction that she has by herself, which we always have a good time over there because we get into a lot of other conversation besides just her selling things. Um, I don't know when Uni's next sale is. Who else came in that I miss you, Sassy. If you're still in here, I miss seeing you online. Tooch Man. I don't know when his next sale is, but he goes live. Nora, she goes live on her channel. She does she keeps you informed on the stock market and she does lives that just chit chats with people. And I mean, you cannot imagine how much I miss seeing your face and you talking like I'm talking on panel. I mean, I know you're in my chat and I know you're here, but it's not like you were on panel. I mean, you brought a lot of kindness and joy into the channel. Oh, I understand that. I mean, I don't understand what happened and I don't need to know what happened. You may have just got tired of it, frustrated with it, aggravated with it, burnout. I don't need to know. I just want you to know that I miss you being on it. Oh, it's okay, Michael. I feel like some people think just because you disagree with them that you hate them or you dislike them. That's not true. James and I have been married to each other 38 years. Do you think I agree with everything that he says or vice versa? That he agrees with everything I say? No, we disagree a lot on different issues. And I'm married to him. Oh, I know, Michael. So I think people just use that as and yeah, I know we will not always agree. And it's okay. I don't want to agree with everybody all the time because then I'd start questioning, like, That's not even, like I said, James and I have been married 38 years and we do not agree on all things, which is good. I gravitate to crochet channels. Imagine that. Now that's kind of odd, Sassy Mary. We may have to do a private chat through StreamYard, Sassy Mary, so I can see your face and actually talk to you. Now, imagine for a marriage to become hostile towards one another. Would that be okay for anyone then to return that kind of hate and unto each other? Not. Oh, thank you for saying that, Michael. Everybody has a different personality. They're made up different. Okay. So we just have to, and here's the thing, if you can't be around someone, you don't have to be ugly, just don't go around them. I mean, there are people on YouTube that honestly, if I didn't want to be around them, nobody would ever even know it. I don't have to announce it. I don't have to tell why I don't like the person or I don't prefer to be around them. I don't have to tell anything. I just have to be an adult and just not go there. But a lot of people can't do that. They have to announce why they don't want to be around the person. They have to announce why they don't like this or that. You know what, Michael? You're not the only person that said that. That would have to happen when I can get to a computer again, meaning I need to straighten up my yarn mess. Well, you get that yarn mess straightened up, Sassy, so you and I can have a live chat on StreamYard. I started saying that years ago, Michael, when I first started YouTube. Um, I used to tell my children that because when my children would get angry with me, when I would try to correct them, and they would try to make me feel bad because I had corrected them, and just being a parent, and I would say, I still love you and there's nothing you can do about it. And it would just anger them so much because even though I had to discipline them, I wanted them to know that I loved them and there was nothing they could do about it. And I would say that to them. And so when I started my YouTube channel and I said that one day, people would just comment about, "Oh, I love when you say that." And my children still to this day, they just go like this when I say it. I'm like, I love you and there's nothing you can do about it. In other words, when a parent that's really a parent are going to love their child no matter how disobedient their child gets, the love of a parent is not going to leave. And I wanted them to know that they could mess up and I wasn't happy about it. I wasn't pleased, but that didn't mean I wasn't going to love them anymore. Hey, Mr. Doggity Dog, how are you doing? My mom would tell us that as well. That's why I love it so much. I was watching a video of Michael's and his mom was making him breakfast. I think she was making him toast and eggs, or anyway, I think it was toast. She's making him some toast. Now, imagine two friends that were to begin to hate in a very hostile kind of way unto each other over something very silly like my favorite food is chicken, so why is your spaghetti? Yeah, imagine that. Why aren't you friends with this person? Well, they like spaghetti and I like chicken. I'm not going to be their friend. Now, how silly does that sound? I have to go get a toaster. Well, I am so glad that I got to come on live and be with you all today. And big hugs to you, Ellen. I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Um, I'm glad I finally got to do a live this week. I will be doing a video soon. But y'all get out like Ellen said, get some sun, put your feet on the earth, get barefooted, walk in the grass, feel the earth underneath your feet, smell the air, get some sun. And I'll see you all next time. My nurse is going to be here in just a few minutes. She just sent me a text. Love you all. See you later. Bye, neighbor.